Hey YouTube, welcome back to another knife video. This is going to be a disassembly of the Kizer Critical. So, it's not too smooth. It feels like with a blade that thick, probably 0.16 inches, it should be a little smoother than it is. So I'm going to take it apart and see if we can get it a little smoother. I think, yeah, that's probably for the back screws, which are either T8 or T9. Pop those out first. Usually I do the pivot first, but I already have this driver in. And I don't have a fancy kit for taking everything apart like Nick Shabazz, but I just use a cheap Husky bit driver. Not the best. I definitely recommend looking up Nick Shabazz's. I think he has a video of everything he uses. So all I have is paper towels and that bit driver. So start with the show side. Take out the bearing and clean that off. You can see these are just little plastic rings with ceramic ball bearings in them. So it should be pretty smooth once you get it done. And I'm getting a little bit of paper towel in there. So if you do have little cotton wipe things, I'd recommend using those so you get less paper on them. Now I have this little bearing race in here. Well, seems like it's just going to stay in. There we go. So yeah, paper towels aren't really the best because you can see if the part isn't completely deburred like this one. You'll have a little bit of paper towel stuck in there, but shouldn't be too bad just as long as it's not in the actual race of the bearing. Got that all clean, everything else is nice and clean. Now for the lock side. This has a captive pivot, which is nice. Some of the other Kizers don't have that, but you can see it's got a little D shape right there, so that slides into the show scale. Makes it a lot easier to take apart, and you only need one bit driver for it, which is a lot nicer than having to use two at the same time. There's that one. Last bearing. And that should be all good. Let me just clean off the blade and the lock. You can see the detent path right there and some of the ball bearing paths. Clean off the detent ball and that pivot a little, and we should be good to put it all back together. So we can start off by dropping a bearing race down in there. And I'll make sure to point this D shape down toward the back of the knife. So there you can see where that's supposed to go. And I'm going to put a little bit of this high-tech oil. Don't know anything about it really, or where you can find it. I found it at my local knife store, but I don't know if it is available online anywhere. Never really looked, but it was cheap and seems to work pretty well. So I'll put a little bit of oil on there. Drop a bearing down on top. Put a little more oil on there. Now we can drop our blade down and put a little bit on that bearing path. Drop the bearing right down on that, and might as well put some on top of it. Drop the race down on top of that, and then we can just drop this, hopefully down in that keyed slot. I need to spin it a little. There we go. That seems good enough. Go close. Seems to be lined up good enough, and I'll drop the pivot in first. Tighten it up a little, don't need to tighten it up all the way yet. I really like that they used T8, I think, back here, rather than T6, because it is a lot harder to strip T8. I got those in pretty tight. You can see there's no gap right there, and now I need to tighten up the lock again, or the pivot again, so it doesn't scrape that side. Pretty tight, snugged it up. Ooh. That's a lot smoother. Yeah, so before it would it'd get stuck about there, and you can kind of shake it a little, but now it seems nice. Cleaned up some of the gunk off the detent, so now it's got a stronger detent. Let me know what you thought about this disassembly video, if you want to see any more, or if there's any specific knife on my channel that you'd like to see a disassembly video of. Other than that, oh, hit the tripod. Other than that, don't forget to check out this review for the Kizer Critical and other reviews on my channel. And thanks for watching.